Very good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026, and we will take calls from you, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. To kick things off, meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Forecasto. I don't know what language that's in. The forecast near you. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It's a hot one, so I think your brain will be melting by this time on Thursday, given how hot the weather is going to be once we get to, say, Thursday, Friday timeframe, because triple-digit temperatures will be the rule rather than the exception. Look at all of this clear sky across New Jersey this morning. It's a lovely start to the day, but there are some clouds on the way with some showers well off to the west. That's all the weather that arrives later on this week. We'll enjoy the clear sky at least with some comfortable weather, at least for the time being, because that heat wave that gets going starts in the middle of the country as this big high pressure drives in all of that heat and humidity, and that arrives tomorrow here across the Northeast with temperatures anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees above average. As that weather gets going, temperatures really start to climb. Again, it's a southwesterly wind that takes over most of the eastern half of the country, with temperatures really heating up as we get into later this week. So the temperature climbs throughout Thursday into Friday, peaking probably on Thursday at the hottest, and then maybe coming down a little bit, but still warm into this weekend. The future cast shows that high pressure kind of sitting offshore, allowing all of that heat and humidity to dig its way in, and then allowing for even some possible scattered thunderstorms. Best chance of that happening not only Wednesday, tomorrow afternoon, but also, again, a little more severe potentially by Thursday, as this little trough, this little dotted brown line, works across the Northeast, and that's what could give us some storms by the time we get to Thursday afternoon, and then maybe again on Friday. We'll break it down for you, give you the details on which day will be the hottest. That's coming up with another check of your forecast in a few minutes, Ken.
All right, sir. Mucho apreciado. Let's see what we got here in California, by the way. I was just out there, and while I was there, I could not believe how flawless the weather was, by the way. For those of you watching from California, I met Jeff Vaughn, our guy out there. He is the anchor of On LACA, and the weather is amazing. It was sunny. In fact, even Pam, our director Pam, would like it. It was sunny, but never hot because the humidity is so low. It hit like 69, 70, but beautiful blue skies, just a perfect. You see the color I got just from walking around. Just amazing. Anyway, I digress. It is 56 degrees northern New Jersey, 53 in Trenton right now. The temperature in California, as I mentioned, it is 61 degrees right now in Los Angeles, 60 in San Diego. In terms of traffic, what we really have to tell you about is on Route 4. Let's go to Route 4. This is by Route 17. Just some volume. You can see things are moving. There's not a crash. That's just volume as people make their way toward the GWB. And again, this is in the Teaneck area. Just some day-to-day problems. They have this on a daily basis, but just to show you, it's down to about 15 miles an hour, maybe a little heavier than usual. The big problems right now that we have are the issues going over the Hudson River or under, as the case may be, depending on if we're talking about bridges or tunnels. Let me just press this button really fast to reset us. Jim, come on, reset. All right, now it's not going to reset. But bottom line, let's see if we can go over to the approach to the Holland Tunnel first. This is Route 139, making your way from Route 78 all the way into Manhattan. And you could see that is just stopped. Look at the left side of your screen. That's the right tunnel when you get into Jersey City. And it is at an absolute dead standstill right now. So that, we're told, is going to cost you about where is it there? About 35 minutes, they're telling us. Over to the Lincoln Tunnel now. We have issues in the Lincoln Tunnel approach. This says eastbound, all lanes are open. Travel time now 45 minutes. 45 minutes at 7 a.m. into the Lincoln. That is crazy. That's a lot of traffic. So there you go. I think a lot of it is just volume, and you get that easterly sun in your face. People are not used to that after months of darkness. And so there you go, slowness into the Lincoln Tunnel. And then our GW Bridge cams are a little off today. They're doing some maintenance on them. So we have a strange camera to show you. But right now, GW Bridge is probably your best bet. You could see this, the approach on the right side. On the left, that's coming from Manhattan into New Jersey. On the right is going into Manhattan. That's actually moving very well. When you have a flow that good, that's great. So Anyone thinking of the Holland or the Lincoln, go to the GWB. We're told right now they're saying 20 to 30. I don't buy it. I think that's only about 15 minutes in. That's your best bet. So take the GWB in. The only other incident to tell you about, we have two issues on the Garden State, no camera shots for it though. We have a vehicle on the Garden State Parkway, vehicle and crash. Vehicle off the roadway, I should say. This is Garden State Parkway northbound, north of exit 69, Lacey Township. All lanes are open traffic. And then in Cranford, we have another crash. This is Garden State southbound by exit 136 Style Street, Cranford. The left lane is blocked there. It is 5 minutes after the hour. Bad night for the Knicks at home as they lost to the San Antonio Spurs 115 to 111 in game 3. So, the Knicks haven't lost a game since April. So Knicks and Knicks fans aren't used to losing. Some people tried to blame President Trump because he decided to be in attendance last night. But can you really blame President Trump for a failed defense is what it looked like really on the part of the Knicks. So we do have some other video. There was President Trump there. He appeared during the national anthem. Many people cheered. You can kind of hear in the background. You hear it? Thank you, Pam. That was. I kind of caught Pam off guard there. Some booed, some cheered. Which, considering this is a very liberal town, the fact that anyone cheered is an amazing thing. But this was the motorcade as the president came. Earlier, there were lots of cheers. So the people that showed up naturally are going to be Trump fans because they knew he was coming by. So this was, for the most part, cheers for people in the motorcade. But in the stadium, it's cheers and boos. And you know what? I can understand because a lot of the people had 2 hours to get into the stadium because into the garden because they had to go through the metal detectors and extra security. So I can imagine a lot of them were not booing because of politics. They were probably also booing because they had to take so much time to get in. And I could understand New Yorkers saying, hey, dude, we just got it from work. We spent $100,000 for a ticket. Now we got to wait 2 hours to get in. Give me a break. I get that. But it's freedom of speech. People can boo or cheer however they want. It's America. We do have some video, I believe, of the rioting that happened, though. There were riots that happened outside. Thank you, Pam. This was after the loss. So people were upset. You know what happens? Big men drinking alcohol, getting stupid. And this is what happens. Guaranteed there was alcohol to be had in that group. The police actually stood off and just let them do what they had to do because they didn't want to start arresting people and causing a bigger melee. So, but this was the scene. Listen, if you want to go see the Knicks or go to, in this case, in many cases, people went to watch parties outside. Just leave the alcohol at home. Go have a good time, but don't get drunk and do stupid stuff. Thank you to our friends there at freedomnews.tv. Nick Sorter, the incredible real journalist. He is a real journalist who goes into the thick of crime and shows you video that others would stay away from. So thank you to Nick Sorter for that. Look at that. They're tearing down signs, just out of control. Police did make some arrests, but they kept it kind of chill. They didn't want to cause a bigger problem. The NYPD, I don't know how they do it. They're just amazing people, all of them, men and women. Unreal. So now we have game 4 at the Garden tomorrow night. That's game 2 in the series, but it is game 4 overall. And during, again, last night's game. Oh, do we have the video of Michael Bloomberg? There might be some video of Michael Bloomberg, Pam. That's it. Thank you. Oh, Pam's the best. Look at him. He's 84 years old. Michael Bloomberg, at one point, he was sitting there courtside, ringside like we're at a boxing match. And it is the Garden. And he got hit with a ball. 84-year-old man got hit with a ball. And so they came over and they look at how nice they were. Mr. Bloomberg, we're really sorry. Sorry we hit you with the ball. I think he was more embarrassed than anything else, but it's not your fault, Mayor Bloomberg. He's actually a pretty nice guy. I've interviewed him a number of times. He could be crabby at times, but so could I. But Mayor Bloomberg, good to see him looking very good at 84. God bless him. So again, we have the next game tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens. President Trump says he wants to go again. I don't know how people are going to appreciate that. James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks and the Garden, and he also owns the Rangers. He invited the president to his private box. So we'll see what actually happens. It is 9 minutes past the hour right now. And in terms of tickets, those people who wanted to buy tickets to see the Knicks, 2 celebrity row seats for game 3 sold for $1 million. The auction benefited the Garden of Dreams Foundation. The donation, the largest in the foundation's history. The winning bid was shared by Gibson Dunn and Veritas Capital. The courtside seats are normally reserved for celebrity guests, as you saw Mayor Bloomberg there. The Knicks lost their first game, of course, their game at home, first game at home. But nonetheless, I'm sure the people who got to see it were very happy. That's awesome. First game hosted, by the way, by the Knicks since 1999. Meanwhile, 6 people were hurt in a knife attack on Sunday night, right nearby where the Knicks were playing at Penn Station. That's right underneath and right across the street there. The incident occurred Sunday evening with one victim suffering serious injuries. The others had moderate wounds. All the victims were transported to nearby hospitals. They're expected to survive. Amtrak police arrested a suspect. They said they believed he had mental health issues. No shocker, happening a lot in New York and in big cities all over the country. Authorities said there were no indications the attack was related to terrorism. Police continue searching for 2 gunmen after a Toledo festival shooting. The suspects allegedly exchanged gunfire during a crowded event. At least 12 bystanders were wounded in the violence, victims ranging in age from 14 to 61. All injured victims were reported stable by Sunday. Organizers canceled the festival's remaining events following the shooting. Well, have you ever heard of the screw worm? Sounds like a dirty dance, but no, it's an actual fly. And in larval phase, it is a worm. So that's why they call it the screw worm. Well, 2 additional screw worm cases have been confirmed in Texas. So this is a flesh-eating parasite. It threatens cattle. It comes from Mexico. And it has been out of the U.S. for decades, but now apparently the flies made their way back in. The flesh-eating parasite threatens cattle, wildlife, pets, occasionally humans. Pretty nasty. Officials have now confirmed 4 cases in the state of Texas. Authorities are investigating and monitoring suspected infections. Experts say a few more cases may soon emerge. SoFi Stadium workers overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike. The venue will host World Cup matches beginning next week. Workers are seeking higher pay and stronger job protections. Good timing, guys. Immigration enforcement concerns remain a major issue in negotiations. Union leaders said employees could strike without further notice. Talks between workers, management, and FIFA are continuing. A California man working at a Mickey D's allegedly brutally attacked a coworker by dumping scalding hot oil all over coworker Jacob Smith's head and face. Smith was severely burned across his face, neck, arm, and back. Suspect Jelani Bluette was charged with a number of felonies. Investigators have not announced a motive, and Smith is hospitalized in serious condition. A far-left liberal group called the Public Integrity Project has filed a federal lawsuit to stop a UFC fighting event scheduled to take place on the grounds of the White House as part of the country's 250th anniversary celebration. The self-proclaimed Trump-hating group claims the event would improperly financially benefit private businesses. The lawsuit also challenges permits and environmental review procedures. Problem is for them, under federal law, the White House and all associated grounds are 100% exempt from all DC codes, so they can't violate any codes if they don't have any to follow. And the president can exempt anything from federal environmental law because the environmental administration falls under his purview. He's the head of the executive branch, and that falls under him. Plus, the same argument could be made regarding any entertainer who performs at the White House that they're financially benefiting. So what's the difference if it's the UFC or if it's Tony, Orlando, and Dawn? Clearly, the argument was never made when any former Democrat president hosted entertainers in the past. The Trump administration dismissing the lawsuit as baseless obstruction, which is basically what the Democrats are doing. If the man blows his nose, they will protest the Kleenex company for providing the tissues. It is 14 minutes past, and when we return, a fundraiser for the Prostate Cancer Foundation. Plus, meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast going to be hot. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Tuesday, live in New Jersey and New York. We now welcome our dear friends in Los Angeles at 16 minutes past the hour, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you. And Mike, I was just talking there on the air a few minutes ago about the weather in LA. As much as it was
Hmm.
sunny, well, it started out, they called it the marine layer, which I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
heard
yeah.
that term in a long time. So they had the marine layer, which looked like we were going to have an ugly day each morning, cloudy, damp,
Hmm.
right? And then by 11 a.m., they flip a switch in LA. I don't
Boom.
know if you know that. The
Yeah.
meteorologists have this big switch and they flip it. And all of a sudden, the
Takes
marine
two
layer
people
just goes,
sometimes.
yep, goes just like that, makes that sound too. And all of a
Uh-huh.
sudden, all the white goes away in the sky and it turns azure, just a deep azure blue, gorgeous. Temperature 69, humidity like 35%. It was
Lovely.
you see the
Lovely.
color? This is from walking around.
Uh-huh.
It was just
It's pretty.
absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful place. It really is. So thank you to our friends. We got to see Jeff Vaughn, the anchor from On LACA. Got to hang out and have some lunch with him. He was a great guy. He has us on right now. We're on the first hour of his broadcast, is our broadcast. So hello to everybody in LA. It was nice to be out there. So anyway, sir, I bow to you. Let you go.
I got to hear about the Dreamliner, the 787 too. We got to talk
We'll
more
talk
about
about
that.
that. Yeah, that was great.
Right. The
Yes.
living room on wheels. Well, we've got some
My
great
God.
weather today. Maybe take the lunch al fresco today because I think it'll be the last comfortable day before the heat and humidity really start to build. We have lovely sunshine right now with a cool beginning. It was chilly last night. I got to sleep with the windows open. However, the pollen starting to creep back up even after the levels holding at the high to moderate level. If you're an allergy sufferer, you've noticed it's slowly been getting better as we're now over the peak of spring allergy season. But even as we head into the middle of the week, that heat and humidity building quickly, fast enough to spark off some thunderstorms, specifically on Thursday. Might have another round come through on Friday, but Saturday looks very nice with a clear start to the week, and it's still going to be hot though. High temperatures range anywhere from the upper 80s to the low 90s, and then with that high pressure in control, it's allowing for that warm southwesterly wind to take over, giving us that threat of some storms later on in the week, specifically Thursday into Friday. Then, as we head into the weekend, the cool front moves on by, and that will clear us out nicely by the time Saturday rolls around. So, 7 a.m., we have a cooler breeze setting up, lots of sunshine ahead into the weekend, looking very pleasant right now, even as we start off our morning on Tuesday. We'll let you know how hot it gets and where some of the cool spots are across the country, Ken, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. My quick checks of traffic right now. I say checks because we're doing East Coast and West Coast very quickly. We have a crash now, Route 22. This is by eastbound, rather, by Springfield Ave in Springfield Township. Left lane of 2 lanes closed. Look at the mess that this is causing right now on Route 22, bumper to bumper. We stay on Route 22. Different camera shot, though. This is about 6 miles away on Route 22, eastbound west of Wilson Avenue, North Plainfield. Right lane of 2 lanes closed there. And you can see, oh, it's gotten a lot better. I bet you that just cleared up because a minute ago that was bumper to bumper. So now the vehicles coming toward us, those vehicles were stopped and now they're starting to move. So hopefully that was cleared. Over to the Garden State Parkway. I don't have a camera shot for this, but there's a vehicle off the roadway, GSP northbound, north of exit 69 in Lacey Township. All lanes are open. And we have a crash on the GSP southbound by exit 136 Stiles Street, Cranford Township. Pam, I looked, not really good camera shot. Left lane is blocked. Your real problems this morning, two of the three crossings for the Hudson River. Right now, if you check out the Hudson River crossings, you look at the 139 approach. This is to the Holland Tunnel coming from Route 78. Look at the lanes on the right. That's to the left tube, and they are basically stopped. That's going to cost you 40 minutes in. The Lincoln Tunnel, which normally is a good alternate at this hour, it is a mess. 45 minutes in. This is the approach 495. That's just before you hit the helix. 45 minutes into the Lincoln. I don't know if that's just volume or if that is sun in their eyes or what, but that's a mess. GWB is your best bet. The different camera shot that we have for you will show you that the trucks and cars are actually moving very well. That's only about 20 to 25 minutes in, which is fantastic for this hour of the morning. Quick check of the LA traffic. Not a lot because remember it's 4:21 in the morning there, but we do have a collision to report. Central LA on the 10 at Normandy Avenue, another collision in West LA on the 405 at the 405 connector. And then when there's a hit and run being investigated, no injuries, fortunately, East LA on the 710 at East Olympic Boulevard. It is 21 minutes past the hour. The Prostate Cancer Foundation has teamed up with Basketball Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman to launch the Check the Box campaign. It encourages men to take simple but potentially life-saving steps when it comes to screening and early detection. Joining us now are basketball legend Nancy Lieberman and Tori Tessel, Chief Philanthropy Officer at the Prostate Cancer Foundation. Good morning, Nancy and Lori. Good to have you both on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you here. And sorry to keep you waiting through our nasty traffic that we have. It's unpredictable, unfortunately. So let's start with Nancy. Why did you get involved with the Prostate Cancer Foundation originally?
It was easy. Jay Harris, the ESPN award-winning anchor, a great friend of mine, called me about 11 months ago, and he said that he had gotten prostate cancer, and I was just blown away. Like, how could this happen? You're young, you're fit, you look fantastic. So I needed to get some more information. So I connected with Prostate Cancer Foundation, flew out to California, and now I started to learn all these numbers, like 1 in 8 men are going to have prostate cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 6 men are going to be Black. 2.5 times the rate of white men dying from prostate cancer. And I was like, what does that mean? Well, it means that if you're 40, 45 years old, you must, look in my eyes, you must get a blood test. We have to check the box, the PSA box on you got to tell your doctor, you got to advocate for yourself. If they catch it early, you have a 99% chance of living. If you don't, and it metastasizes into your organs, your lungs, your kidneys, anything like that, if it gets outside of the prostate, it's not going to be a good ending for you. So that's why it's so important to just go to a doctor, have people in your family nudge you if you're a guy to go get this test. It will save your life. Please check that box.
Nancy, 100%. I have prostate cancer in my family, grandfather, uncle, and benign enlarged prostate as well. I've been getting checked since I'm 40. I'm 59. Takes 5 minutes when you're at your general checkup. Your regular MD can do a digital exam or can take the blood test. By the way, don't freak out. It takes a second,
Correct.
and it's just very easy. And there's, as you said, if they catch something, they treat it early, you're fine. And sometimes if you're older, they even decide maybe not to treat. They even hold off, depending, but let your doctor make that decision. Thank you for doing this and letting people know, because guys put it off. They don't want to deal with it. We're just stupid that way, unfortunately. But why cost your life for stupidity? Women are smart. They know they're the caretakers often. I'm not trying to stereotype, but they're smart. Guys are, that's a guy. Lori, talk about the Check the Box campaign that Nancy just started talking about here, and when it started.
Yeah, we're partnering with Big Three. Look, the most important thing is that we partner. We're out in the community. 20 to 25% of men are being diagnosed with prostate cancer right now. That is why men must get checked. You just said beautifully, you get checked. We have to normalize the ability for men to go get ask their doctor for treatment. It's not part of the primary care guidelines. So check the box, get tested, early detection saves lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I could jump in,
Nancy, go ahead.
on that. So, right now, 4.8% per year, it's increasing men who are getting prostate cancer. So in this time, we're talking about over 300,000 men are going to have prostate cancer. But as you alluded to, and Lori's alluded to, you can be saved, but you have to know that you have to have awareness, you have to have knowledge. But take all that away, you have to get tested. Testing is knocking down the shot, not just shooting the shot, knocking it down in my world. And so I went to Ice Cube. I went to my boss with the Big Three 8 years in, and he was all over it. We're going to do testing in big 3 cities. We're going to disseminate information. We've done this with the Naismith Hall of Fame. We're trying to expand our concentric circle of men. And like you said, we're going to nudge you because we love you, but you have to go to your primary care person and you must advocate for yourself. You got to tell the doctor, I need you to check the PSA box, the prostate specific antigen box, because now you're going to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah. And by the way, for guys who think, well, I don't have any symptoms, you don't have to have symptoms. You could get a PSA level that starts to go up to 5, 6, 7. You start to get it creeping up. You don't have, for the most part, symptoms. So it's not like the old, I stand there, I can't go to the bathroom, like old men. That happens later. And that could even be benign prostate enlargement. It doesn't even have to be prostate cancer. But you may be symptomless. And if you catch it at that point when you're symptomless and it's early on, you have a very good shot at great treatment and having nothing to worry about later. So early detection is just so essential. And I adore you for embracing this and getting the awareness out there for guys who just put it off and don't want to think about it. Why do so many men, you think, avoid getting screened? Do you think it's because they are worried about the digital exam or don't want to have blood drawn, or that they just put it out of their minds?
Yes.
You're hitting that. That's really important, because women, if something happens with us, we chat it up. We talk about each other's health issues. Men, for some reason, look, I'm in that world. I'm in that locker room with NBA guys and professional athletes. So they don't talk about it. You really do need to talk about it, but they're afraid. I mean, who isn't afraid of something? And the myth of the digital test, it could be a little overwhelming, but if you go to pcf.org, you will have somebody to talk to. They will help you. They will guide you through whatever you need. And by the way, the old man voice that you used was fantastic. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, only because I've been there. That's all. I say it only because I've been there. And I remember, here, to be quite frank, the first time I had a digital exam, you go, oh God, what's this going to be? It's nothing. It is absolutely nothing. Then you realize you've been a child all along about it. And by the way, props out, because I know you do stuff with ESPN, to our ABC. I was with ABC in New York for 20 years. Bill Ritter, who was the main anchor at Channel 7 in New York for forever. He's a sweetheart of a guy. Bill, to dispel any embarrassment, he would go on camera and get a digital exam. Now, they, blanketed it, but he literally would get the digital exam on camera, face on camera, to show men you don't feel a thing. It takes a second, just to dispel the embarrassment. And he would do it every single year to make the point. And so my buddy Bill Ritter, God bless you for doing that. And I hope every man watching gets the hint here, and just take that second, talk to your doctor when at your annual checkup. If you ask the doctor, they can do the exam. It's just very easy to do. Lori, what is the Prostate Cancer Foundation's website so people can get more info?
pcf.org, and you could find all the information you need. Check the box, resources, everything you need is right there. And thank you,
I adore
Ken.
you. I adore you both.
Normalizing this is incredible.
Well, thank you. Thank you, because you're saving lives for real. You are saving lives doing what you're doing and getting the message out. Basketball legend Nancy Lieberman, Lori Tessel, Chief Philanthropy Officer at the Prostate Cancer Foundation. Come on again, please, and we'll make it a big mission to get the word out. I appreciate you coming
We'd
on.
love to. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
a superhero.
No, you too. You're the superheroes for doing what you're doing. It is 30 minutes past the hour. A group of business advocates recently went to Washington, D.C. to discuss policies with lawmakers that could have a major impact on New Jersey businesses. We're going to talk all about it. It's pretty cool. Don't go away. Very good morning. 32 minutes past the hour. Now it's Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. I'm that guy, Ken Rosato. We're live on the East Coast and the West, and meteorologist Mike Favetta is the other guy. He has the forecast near you. And just, Mike, you started talking about the 787 Dreamliner. Here's the
Yeah.
juvenile that I am. As I got
Okay.
on, there was a flight attendant right at the door, and I said, smiling, he smiled, engaged me. Hello, how are you? I said, I'm an aviation enthusiast. Geek. What a geek. And I said, this is my first trip on it was a 787-10. So it was like the super stretch that United flies. It's only like
Mm.
5 years old. It still had that new plane smell. And he looked at me and he giggled and said, believe it or not, so am I. And this is my first trip on a 787 Dreamliner.
Wow.
About 10, 15 minutes after we reached cruising altitude, I'm like, dozing, taps on the shoulder. He gave me a trading card.
Trading card, yes.
I didn't know those existed. So, like, each time you're on a
Yeah.
plane for the first time, the pilot, the
Uh-huh.
captain, has trading
Yep.
cards so that you
Yeah.
could say, hey, I was on this plane for the first time.
Uh-huh.
How cool is that? Do you
Very,
have a
very cool.
787
So you
Dreamliner trading
join
card?
the club. That's it. Nino already has 2 trading cards, so you could start to trade. He's
He's the
that's it.
coolest.
That's it. Very,
Nino's got
very
me
cool.
beat, but yeah, if you ever get the opportunity, it's an incredible plane. It's just, and
It,
then
it really is.
we flew a 30-year-old 757 coming back. It was like getting in the back of a junk truck. I had to hold on to the wing flying back. Quite a different trip, but it's all right. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm holding you
Yeah,
up.
yeah. No, it's great. I'm glad it all worked out. I'm glad you're back and got to enjoy the wonder of some really cool aviation up in the sky, some modern tech. We've got some great weather on the way for today. Great weather to maybe fly out of here if you don't like the heat, because we have triple-digit heat coming as soon as Thursday. Yeah, just a day and a half away, especially with this high pressure in control. Look what happens through the course of the week. It slides offshore. A southwesterly wind takes over this afternoon into tomorrow. Actually brings in a healthy dose of clouds tomorrow morning, maybe a quick passing shower. But then we're back to the heat and humidity all day on Thursday, which could spark off some late afternoon thunderstorms, possibly even severe. Once that gets by, we'll see another quick round on Friday evening, and then we're clear into the weekend. So a couple bumpy days ahead as we head into the rest of this work week, with first the clouds coming in tomorrow and then some possible showers and storms each and every day. And it's all due to that very warm weather that takes over out west there on the left coast. Start off nice and dry this morning. A little bit of that morning marine layer up in San Francisco, but beyond that, it'll stay quiet there with the high pressure and control, little northerly breeze drying things out, and it stays with that azure sky, like Ken was saying, right down toward the coast there in LA. So plenty of clear sky out west, clear sky out east, just hot across most of the country this weekend.
Right, Mike. Thank you, sir. 58 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. It is 56 in Trenton. In Los Angeles right now, it's 61 degrees, 60 degrees for our viewers in San Diego for the West Coast side. And then in Florida, 74 in Fort Lauderdale, 75 right now in Miami for On FLA, our dear friends down south there. Checking a couple of traffic issues we have just to tell you about Route 440. We just got this breakdown of a vehicle, Route 440 Center Lane, and this is near Amboy Avenue. So this is by making your way. Let's see. Where do we have? That's not saying a town here. There we go. Route 440. It says here. This is Amboy Avenue, Perth Amboy, of course. Center lane is now closed, so that's going to cause a little problem. You can see the cars trying to get around that just happened. We got it as the camera was zooming in. So just a couple of minutes ago. Try to avoid that. It's going to get a mess as they bring vehicles over to help them out. It's only going to get worse. Some issues on Route 22. There's a crash in Springfield right now, and we also have a crash reported in Plainfield. And then your Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel is already 45 minutes in. Don't know why there's so much volume going into the Helix. There is not a crash. It's just volume, and I think the sun in people's eyes, and that's causing a slowdown. Holland Tunnel right now, Route 78, Route 139 from 78 to the Holland Tunnel. You can see those lanes there on the right side of your screen. That's going to cost you about 35 to 40. And GWB is your best bet. Right now, GWB is flowing beautifully, upper and lower levels. 8095 approach. And you can see from this back shot that we have, the folks there immediately on the right side of the screen. That's the upper level, way to the upper right corner. That's the lower level. And you can see that they're flowing in pretty well. It's only going to cost you about 20 minutes in. It is 37 minutes past the hour. Quick check of LA traffic. We have a collision now reported central LA, and this is on the 10 at Normandy Avenue. There's also a collision Garfield Avenue at the 105 in East LA. And we have let's see. Oh, we had one more thing. It just got cleared up. That's it. 37 minutes past the hour. The internet is essential for business, of course, and a group of business advocates recently traveled to Washington, D.C. to discuss policies with lawmakers that could have a major impact on New Jersey businesses. Brendan Thomas is the executive director of Internet for Growth, and Scott Shields is the president of SD Shields Limited. Good morning to you both. Good to have you both on.
Good morning. Thanks, Ken.
Very much, Ken.
You bet. Let's start with Brendan. What led to Internet for Growth?
Well, Ken, Internet for Growth is a nationwide coalition of small businesses and creators who make their living online. We include everyone from mom and pop shops and local realtors and restaurants to digital advertising and marketing firms and public affairs firms like Scott's in New Jersey. We're raising awareness of tech issues on Main Street, particularly around digital advertising, media, and marketing. We started with a focus on data privacy because data privacy laws are emerging across the states and in Congress. And increasingly, we're looking at digital ad taxes, digital services taxes, and also trying to bring a little more awareness to the benefits of AI for small businesses and consumers. And you said it's really an internet issue. It's an online commerce and economy issue. And these tools are driving choice for consumers, low cost, and it's really become part of the affordability conversation as campaigns take off in a midterm season. And we were grateful to have businesses like Scott's join us in Washington, D.C. recently.
And seriously, what business today doesn't have some connection or use of the internet, right? I mean, what we're on right now, this is a streaming TV channel, which 10 years ago wouldn't have existed. And today, 50% of all the eyeballs that watch TV are watching on streaming. When I was at Channel 7, I would have laughed at you 10 years ago and said, what's a streaming channel? And today, this is where half the people are watching. Scott, what motivated you to get involved with the organization, and what has it meant for your business?
Yeah, I mean, so I got involved with Internet for Growth because it's so important for small businesses and organizations to have a seat at the table when it comes to public policy debates. I represent a lot of small businesses and small organizations, and getting your message out. The internet nowadays is just it's got to be part of the conversation. It's part of the ecosystem. So there's really no avoiding it, and we need to be there. Involved in these conversations as regulations are getting written and passed.
So now you both went down to DC. You spoke to officials there. How did the meetings go?
Our meetings were great. We met with both of our senators, Andy Kim and Cory Booker, their offices, as well as the representatives, Pallone and Norcross. They're very receptive. They were very eager to hear, what we had to say about how we do business, how we deal with the internet, how targeted online advertising, comes into play for us. They're very helpful and great listeners. And hopefully, they're going to take everything we said back to the floor of Congress.
Yeah, and this is really something that's not even a political issue, right? I mean, this is Democrat and Republican alike, because everybody who wants to do business, everybody who has access to a phone, you have access to the internet. And so this is, I don't know, I can't even think personally, just anecdotally, of a day that I'm not buying something online, right? This is just part of our day-to-day life. Brendan, what were the key policy issues or the proposals that are currently being discussed in DC that could impact small businesses and digital advertising?
Well, Scott, and Ken, you said something really important. This isn't a political issue, and when our legislators and regulators meet with people like Ken, they understand what the effects could be of the regulations and legislation that they're thinking about could be on small businesses and their customers. This isn't a big tech issue, but unfortunately, it's increasingly becoming wrapped up in the politics and policy of big tech. But it's really a little tech and Main Street issue, including the Secure Data Act in Congress. Now, the big debate is whether a federal law could preempt state laws, restricting the use of certain information or tools that small businesses rely on. And everybody agrees that consumers should have more transparency and access to the kinds of data or services that companies are providing them. But at the same time, a lot of the privacy laws, as they're called, could affect ordinary services that consumers expect, such as the personalization that they get on streaming platforms, on social platforms, in search and online. And so we're just there to remind the legislators that the effects of their legislation have real-world consequences. It would be great in the states that don't have privacy laws that people there do have protections, but also a federal privacy law could supersede state laws that could be more restrictive. We see, for instance, small business thresholds lowering because there are exemptions for small businesses, but increasingly across the states, those exemptions are disappearing because the thresholds are becoming lower. But in reality, we all use these tools. And so we want really flexibility for small businesses and consumers to be able to use digital advertising, media and marketing, and all the ad-supported free content and low-cost services that are available. And we don't want increasingly restrictive laws to affect those.
Yeah, and just to give some real life examples, I live half-time in Florida, half-time in New Jersey, and in Florida they've enacted laws specifically for internet use in Florida for adult websites and whatnot. I've only seen it because there are signs all over the place in Fort Lauderdale that were against the legislation, more so than for, depending on where you were in Florida. But so now, if you want to use an adult website, you have to verify age beforehand. But that's not the case everywhere in the country. But I guess because of geolocation, the internet can determine where you're checking in from. So that's why certain states can make their own laws. Where they couldn't really do that years and years ago. But or you think we're going to see more of that, or it really is going to come up to what the federal government determines, Scott?
I would hope that the federal government would step in and sort of normalize all of this for small businesses, small organizations. New Jersey is such a great example because you have 4 or 5 states in the local region. So if you're dealing with 4 or 5 different sets of regulations, that's a pretty big hurdle for small Main Street businesses and organizations to clear. So a common sense national standard is what we're really hoping to get across as our priority here.
Makes sense, and it'll impact every single person in the U.S. Brendan, let me ask you, what's a website for more information? What's your website?
Internetforgrowth.com. You'll find more information on data privacy, ad taxes, platform policy, information about our members, how to join, how to support us, and how to contact your representative, tell them your thoughts.
Fantastic. And I think every business owner certainly in New Jersey, we're in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and also we're in Florida and California. So I think they all should wake up and pay attention. Brendan Thomas, Executive Director of Internet for Growth. Scott Shields, President of SD Shields. And by the way, LTD, limited, right? That's like a corporate
you got it.
thing, right?
You got it.
Because I'm LLC for mine. I'm like, I forgot. I remember years ago, there were a lot of stores used to have the LTD. Anyway, Scott Shields, from President of SD Shields. Thank you for coming on, both of you, this morning. It was great to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
We're coming back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, 48 minutes past the hour, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast for your city. And Mike, good morning, sir. I just want to mention the reason why, one of the main reasons I went to LA is we had tickets to see Rush in concert, which we
Okay.
thought that they were done 10 years ago. But no, I mean, the great Neil Peart, the drummer, passed away, and everyone thought, well, this is the end of Rush. And they have a woman named Annika Niles, who's an incredible drummer. She's not Neil Peart, but no one is Neil Peart. But the nice thing is the crowd in LA for opening night, Sunday night, they embraced her and cheered her on. I posted 3 clips on my X account. Now, in
Mm-hmm.
all my years at Channel 7, in my years at Channel 5, my years at Channel 4 in Miami, the most I've ever gotten in terms of a response from a clip, I had, I think, 40,000 views. You
Okay.
know how many responses I've gotten from the Rush clips now?
Uh-oh.
600,000.
Whoa.
So
That's
now
what
we
it
know.
takes.
I'm no longer going to post sock puppets. No longer going to post like my making farts with the underarm. No. That doesn't do it. You post a clip about Rush, and then you ask, "What do
Wow.
you think about the new drummer?" And you get
Mm.
600,000. So I have a lot more clips. I'll just keep posting them because clearly they like them.
That's
Thought that was
wild.
bizarre.
It really is. It really is. People excited about some great weather, maybe some great music to go along with it. After so much sunshine this weekend, you just take a picture of the beautiful blue sky outside, and hopefully that'll get a lot of likes because the humidity and the heat that comes back, not so much. Already getting special requests from Pam, our director, to ixnay on the triple-digit heat word. Request denied, Pam, unfortunately, especially with that warm weather taking over from across the country, starting off in the Midwest with that big heat and humidity, allowing some storms to form throughout the end of the week, arriving here in New Jersey by the time we get to Thursday afternoon and again on Friday. But when it clears this week, and we'll see a little drop in temperatures, and then ultimately see the temperatures moderate by early next week. So you can finally take a breath of fresh air once we get to Monday time frame of next week. It's all about the big heat and humidity thanks to that southwesterly breeze that takes over. Gives us a chance of storms tomorrow and again on Thursday and again on Friday. Severe potentially, especially along that cold front that comes through on late Friday night. As far as the rest of the month is concerned, at least the first 3 weeks of June, anticipating warmer than average weather right down the East Coast, but also slightly wetter than average conditions as we wrap up the middle of the month. We'll give you the heat index numbers coming up for New Jersey, how hot it'll get here across the state. That's in our next weather update, Ken.
You can kind of feel it. You feel it already when you go
Mm-hmm.
outside. All right,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank you, sir. 57 northern New Jersey right now, 56 in Trenton. In Los Angeles, it is 64 degrees, but of course, the sun hasn't yet arisen. Is that the past tense? Yes, arisen. And is 64 as well in San Diego, as we say, the San Diego sun. In terms of traffic, we have a few things to tell you about right now. There's a crash on Route 33, both directions impacted. That's Colts Neck Road, Howell Township, left lane of 2 lanes closed. Over to 440, we have a disabled vehicle. We had that shot for you before. I don't know if we still have it. If we do, great. Otherwise, don't go crazy, Pam. It's Route 440 northbound by Amboy Avenue, Perth Amboy. Center lane is currently closed. It's a kind of an old van. Oh, there it is, an old van there. Kind of got stopped. So they had to shut all the lanes, it looks like, in order to get the emergency vehicle there to get him off. So what that almost looks like a still shot, but it's not. As you can see, the other car is moving. Why are they all staying back like that, Pam? Is that like an investigation? Oh, that's a police car? Okay. But why are they all kind of staying away from him? That's weird. I wonder if there's a reason. We will find out. Maybe they're trying to get a tow truck, but okay. He's coming out of the car. All right. It's all right. I thought maybe we had something fishy. Now they'll let the cars go. It's fun to watch this in real time, how it's happening, but the poor folks trying to get to work don't think it's fun. So, yeah, there you go. So again, that is Route 440 Amboy Avenue in Perth Amboy. And there's a broken down there in the middle lane. Okay. Route 33, we have a crash impacting both directions. I mentioned in Howell Township, rather. And then Route 22, we have a crash eastbound by Springfield Ave in Springfield Township. And there's a crash 22 eastbound west of Wilson Ave in North Plainfield. both causing problems. Vehicle off the roadway on the GSP, and that is north of exit 69, Waretown Road in Lacey. All lanes are open to traffic. And then your Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln and Holland, just avoid them. Right now, the Holland Tunnel is going to cost you 40 minutes in, very heavy. You can see the lanes on the right. Those go to the left tube, and they're just bumper to bumper. That's been that way for over an hour. Lincoln Tunnel, we're now told just due to volume. There's no other reason. Due to volume, it's 45 to 50 minutes in, making your way to the Helix. That is ugly. The best bet is the GWB. Not only is it open air, you don't have to feel, like you're in a tube, but it's only going to cost you about 20 to 30, depending on now it's filling up a little bit. See? Well, of course, now we got the circle of doom there as it reloads the page. So they're actually moving. It doesn't look like it on screen because of the internet, but the extreme right lanes, upper right corner, that's the lower level. The upper level is where those trucks are. And we're told right now it's about 25 to 30. So that's not so bad. That's your best bet. Okay. In terms of LA traffic, just to tell you about really fast, we have a hit and run, no injuries, West LA at the 405 on Skirball Center Drive. Collision in Central LA on the 10 at Normandy, and a collision in East LA on the 105 at Garfield. Folks in several New Jersey communities want to restrict large AI data centers. The worry is they would put too much of a strain on the infrastructure, forcing up electricity and water rates and causing noise and congestion. Well, officials in Cherry Hill are working on a ban before developers can even submit proposals. Millville recently moved to block data center projects. Governor Sherrill supports regulation rather than a statewide ban, which makes sense. This is a good compromise. The governor's very, very smart on this. Personal opinion there interjected. Because the centers do bring a lot of jobs and tax dollars. So you don't want to say don't come, but think back to the early days of cell phone towers. Everybody wanted great cell coverage, but nobody wanted that tower in their neighborhood, either because it was a blight, the way it looked. And then they started making those cell towers with like stupid palm fronds coming off of them to make it look like a tree, a metal tree that was dumb looking. Sorry, they were just silly. It was better to just have the tower. But everybody wants good AI service, but they don't want the centers, so you can't have both. So what one company is doing, it's creating a bunch of little AI mini centers that are literally the size of air conditioning units that go on people's private property. In exchange, they give you free electricity or discounted electricity and free internet to thank you for letting them put their box on your property. And by spreading it out like that, it doesn't use the water, the electricity, or isn't a blight on the area. So that might be the better bet. There you go. A lot of people cheering because they don't want their data centers. Okay. I think it's more, you get the folks rallying the troops and get them frothing at the bit more so than really what a data center is. But they do use massive amounts of water, and they do use massive amounts of electricity. So this other solution might be the way to go. Pulte Homes, by the way, they're building a lot of homes with these mini centers built in. So that's a good alternative. Hopefully they all embrace that. It is 56 minutes past the hour. Haddonfield freshman Dylan Hosty set a new South Jersey mile record. She ran 4:42.21 at the Brooks PR Invitational in Washington. The mark broke a record set by Olympian Erin Donahue in 2001. Donahue now serves as Hosty's high school track coach. How cool is that? Getting your student to beat your own record. Hosty's performance also established a New Jersey freshman record. The rising star recently set a state freshman record in the 800-meter run. A woman rescued after falling into a trash chute in a Hackensack apartment building. It happened Sunday at a high-rise on Main. Firefighters found that she was trapped and backed up that trash chute on the third floor. Crews spent half an hour using saws to remove garbage so they could safely reach her. How did she get stuck on the chute? We don't know. The woman was treated on the scene. A firefighter suffered an arm injury. Monmouth County officials unveiled the Monmouth NJ 250 monument at Swimming River Park. The monument honors America's upcoming 250th and Monmouth County's Revolutionary War history. There's lots of it. County leaders highlighted the years of planning through the Monmouth NJ 250 committee. Very cool to have a lot going on this summer. By the way, could smartphones be causing birth rates to go down? And if so, why? Researchers linked fertility declines to smartphone use. The sharpest decreases occurred among younger people and teens. It doesn't appear to be anything connected to electromagnetic radiation. No, you know what they're saying it is? You spend too much damn time on your phone and you're not interacting face to face. Literally, that's what they're finding. because not to be a little off color here, but if you're not pressing flesh, can't have babies. Yeah, it's biology. Don't know if you realize that. So they're saying that because of this, we're having fewer babies. Put down the phone, start kissing. It is 58 minutes past the hour. Truck carrying fireworks caught fire near Chattanooga, Tennessee. You got to see this. Look at this. Whoa. The blaze triggered a dramatic roadside fireworks display. Traffic had to be stopped in both directions during the incident. Witnesses, of course, recorded fireworks exploding high above the highway. Firefighters responded. They dumped water on the explosives. Nobody got hurt. No word on how the fire started. It's kind of cool to watch, though. Thankfully, again, nobody got hurt. 58 minutes past the hour for those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast. Nice to be out there. Thank you for hosting us. Stay tuned to your local news. If you're watching on New Jersey, we will be right back with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sun today, maybe a cloud or two, little puffy afternoon cloud. Highs mid-80s, lots of heat. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Now is the time to prepare for some really hot weather. Don't wait until your air conditioning breaks 2 p.m. on Thursday to call the AC repair guy. No. Run it now because it's really going to get hot. And he might have a 2-week waiting list considering just how warm this weather gets in the coming days. 64 right now. It's comfortable over in Newark, 59 in Sussex, 63 down the shore. But it's that heat and humidity that builds over the course of the next few days that really makes it feel uncomfortable. It's actually a few degrees cooler this morning as compared to yesterday because of the drier air. It's quite comfortable now, but not going to last for long, especially with the southwesterly breeze already pushing in some clouds and will quickly warm us up very fast. So we're in the upper 80s by this afternoon away from the shore. With the south breeze, it feels nice and chilly down along the coast. Then we head into tomorrow. extra clouds, especially in the morning, maybe a quick passing shower, but we still managed to make it into the upper 80s. It's Wednesday evening where that humidity makes it feel sticky and warm all through the day, and then well into the 90s with some thunderstorms by Thursday afternoon, allowing for the potential for some severe weather even across northern New Jersey. Look at Friday's high, 99 degrees actual air temperature. When you factor in the heat and humidity together, that heat index is well over 100, and that's what will begin a very warm weekend. Following that, another round of storms later on Friday evening, all to clear out by Saturday morning. So it's a pretty interesting next few days with the warm weather on the way, the heat, the humidity building into the weekend. We'll let you know when it breaks. Coming up with your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes, Ken.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to give a heads up to Pam. Pam, I gave you the wrong camera shot. Sorry, Mike. I appreciate you though. Pam, I gave you the wrong camera shot a second ago. Mike's like, why? Why am I still on? This Pam, go to Garden. If you go to Route 3 east of Garden State Parkway. Route 3 east of Garden State Parkway. That's the shot we want. All right, please. So right now there's a crash on Route 3 westbound east of the Garden State Parkway in Clifton. 2 left lanes of 3 lanes closed. That is the camera. I gave Pam the wrong camera shot for the Garden State a second, right before we had Mike finish up. That's why this is all kind of convoluted right now. But there you go. So we have the traffic on Route 3. There's also an incident right now, a crash on 295 northbound by exit 57. That's US 130 in Bordentown Township. The right shoulder is closed there. On the turnpike, we have a crash exiting at interchange 11, the GSP in Woodbridge. That's by entry lane 7, which is blocked. So it's specifically that entry lane. Route 440, I think Pam has this, a disabled vehicle on 440 northbound by Amboy Avenue, Perth Amboy. The center lane is closed. That's been that way for about half an hour now. You can see they're working on that disabled vehicle with a flatbed. Hopefully they'll get that removed. It's amazing the traffic is moving as well as it is on either side. Police have been very good at directing folks around. Route 33, we have a crash now, both directions by Colts Neck Road in Howell. The left lane is closed there. And your Hudson River crossings, it's been a mess at the Lincoln. That's been the worst all morning with 45 to 50 minutes in at the 495 at the Helix. So that's the worst, followed by there. And there you go. That's the entrance to the Helix. 45 to 50. A little bit better at the Holland Tunnel approach. That's Route 78 to 192, or I'm sorry, 139, making your way over to the Holland Tunnel. And that's heavy. You can see those lanes on the left, but that's going to be about 35 minutes into Manhattan. The best bet is GWB, even though it is building. There's a lot of volume now. An hour ago, there wasn't. It's still your best bet with about 30 to 35 minutes in. At least you're in open air. You don't feel confined. And there you have it. So your upper level is on the left. Your lower level is on the right. It is 8:05 right now. The Boardwalk Culinary Masters Cooking Competition brings local chefs head to head in a live challenge where they will have to create dishes on the spot using ingredients from a mystery basket. Executive Chef Mike DeLeo is a private chef serving the tri-state, and he's one of the chefs taking part. Good morning, Chef Mike. Good to have you on.
Morning, Ken. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's good to have you. So this is, if I may borrow, this is kind of similar to like the good folks of the Food Network and Chopped. It's sort of like that, right? Where you get a mystery
It
basket, you
is.
open up and you love
Yeah.
that. I love the fact that you guys are doing this. And so how did the Boardwalk Culinary Masters competition come about?
I reached out to the Red Bank River Center and, because I saw how great they do every year. They close the Broadwalk Street from May to September, and they do such great events all summer long, every day, from kids events, adult events. So I said, how can me as a chef incorporate myself into something that's, really the place to be this summer? Let's, be real. Red Bank is the place to be. And we had a conversation, and I came up with the idea, what about a culinary cooking showdown? And I actually trading in my knives for a microphone. And we're going to feature local chefs, 2 each month. They're going to go head to head, and they're going to cook from a mystery basket. They're going to be on stage. People are going to be able to watch them. They have 45 minutes to cook. They're going to make 1 plate for each judge. We're going to have 2 celebrity guest judges each month, and it's something fun and something to do that's different. and we're here to bring the community together. Broadwalk has been around for a few years now, and each year it gets bigger and bigger. And it's a community-driven event, and the reason for it is to not only bring people out and have a good time this summer, but also to support local businesses in the area. So we're really excited for that.
Very cool. So how does it work? How does somebody get to be a chef to compete there? And is there a process to qualify?
I mean, it's really me reaching out to local restaurants in the area and a few of my local chefs that I work with very well and very closely. It's tonight is the first one. We are featuring two chefs actually from my hometown in Staten Island, Max Colicchio from Max's Esca and Joe Salamini from Tarina Restaurant in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. So they're going to go head to head tonight, and we're still working on other chefs and judges for July, August, and September. But basically, the idea is to use Red Bank local chefs for those months.
You know what? If I'm a chef from northern New Jersey, this is low season, right? Because everybody's going down the shore anyway. It's a great opportunity to come on down and highlight your
Mhm.
skills. Am I wrong? To do it when
Absolutely.
your
I mean,
audience is down there.
it's a great opportunity, even if you're not competing and you want to come down and check it out. There's always room for more as we go on and as the years go by and the months go by. We're looking to really up the game every year. So if you're in the area tonight, 6 o'clock on Broad Street, the showdown goes on.
That is cool. So, having been a fan, I'm a foodie. I was raised in the industry. My dad at various points growing up, he had an ice cream parlor, pizzeria, delicatessen, what else? A luncheonette. And so I worked in all of those coming up and fancy myself the amateur chef. There's so much to being a real chef though, and I have a lot of friends who are. And it's but when I would watch, say, the Food Network's version, their version, they created Chopped, right? When I would watch that, I would say, you get like green jello, a fish head, fruit flavored cereal. You got 30 seconds, go. It's like, what? Come on, what chef? What? But that's the whole idea. You're supposed to be able to look at any ingredients and figure out a way to make them palatable and delicious and enticing, etc. Right? So, what's it like when you see a weird basket of ingredients yourself?
Hey, listen, I mean, as a chef, you're considered an artist. The brain is always moving. You just have to go and be creative, put something that's great on the plate. So that's one of the criterias of how the judges will score each chef is creativity, presentation, and of course taste. They're going to have an array of different products for them to choose from as far as like perishable items, dry goods. So be yourself, be creative, and just do what you do as a chef.
Because anybody, if you give anybody, even a non-chef, handmade pasta, a black truffle, and extra virgin imported olive oil. Okay, head of garlic. You could make something pretty nice out of that, but it's when you're thrown the curveball, right? Like the green jello and the fruit cereal. That's where you
Yeah.
show your skills and how you could turn that.
Yes.
Take the cereal and maybe infuse it in milk and drain that and boil it down. Now you have strawberry flavor and blah blah blah. And then that's the stuff that's just fascinating because your brains just work differently, as you said, like an artist. An artist looks at a blank canvas and sees things that the average person doesn't see. So,
Right.
would you say then it's equal amounts competitiveness and creativity with the art and skill of cooking? Because if you're just a great cook, in quotes, that doesn't necessarily mean you'd win a competition like this.
No, it doesn't. I think yes, it's equal to all that. But you just there's a lot of people that can just jump on that stage tonight, and
Right.
you'd be surprised at what people can really do, even if you're not a chef. I know a lot of people who aren't chefs, and they're amazing cooks. It's just it. I think today's day, the culinary world is so in high demand, even just from people watching these TV shows and learning and frequently visiting restaurants that there are just so many. It's become a thing. And if you're not a chef, you inspired to be one, whether it's in your mind or you're just in your home kitchen. Most people, they love to cook, and it's great to see.
Well, and again, we keep mentioning them, and this is not associated with them, but I want to give props to the Food Network because America, the food scene in America 40 years ago, 30 years ago sucked. It was awful. Burned steak and bad burgers, and I mean that was it. And the Food Network, I think, expanded the horizons and made becoming a chef a rock star. And you are a rock star doing what you're doing. You are a chemist because you take one product and you chemically convert it into something that makes it palatable, and then you're an artist because you make it visually enticing. So
Hmm.
you combine that, and that's the skill that makes a successful chef, I think. And you do it so well. The event, the Boardwalk Culinary Masters Cooking Competition, you go check it out at the Broadwalk stage in Red Bank. Beautiful, beautiful place. Do you have a website to check out more, Chef?
You can go to Instagram, or you could follow me, Executive Chef Mike. We'll have all the information there, or Red Bank and J on Instagram. They also have a website too, if you do redbanknj.com.
Very good. By the way, you may or may not know Chef Ryan DiPercio. He's literally in the lineup, ready to come on right after you. So we'll see
All
if we get
right.
Ryan. He's not busy enough with 22 restaurants. We'll get him to go down and do the competition with you. He's been on Food Network competing. But anyway, Chef DeLeo,
We're ready.
Executive Chef Mike DeLeo. We love you, my friend. Listen, have fun with
Thank you,
getting all
Ken.
the chefs there at the competition, and go check them out in Red Bank. Great to have you on.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Hey, when we come back, we stay on the chef theme. As I mentioned, this time we will speak with the renowned New Jersey restaurant chef owner, Ryan DiPercio. Great guy, good friend, and his newest restaurant under development. We'll be talking about that. His passion also to raise money for charity. You're watching Mornings. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Ken Rosato at 8:16, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sun today, highs mid-80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for bringing the California weather back with you. It was lovely. Got the
Oh, we
sunshine, the dry heat.
I'm sorry to step on you. When we were going to the airport in Los Angeles,
Okay.
I said, wow,
Yeah.
69, sunny, blue skies, dry. We land
Uh-huh.
in Newark yesterday, thinking it's going to be sticky. Sunny blue skies, 71, dry. I thought,
Yeah.
whoa, it came with me. It
Wow.
does happen every now and then. So thankfully,
Every
after you.
once in a while. Yeah, and now the Florida heat and humidity comes back by the end of the week with the storms to go along with it. So you kind of get a weather from all angles of the country, and you don't have to go very far from home, especially here in central Jersey, where your temperatures reach the mid 80s today. But look what happens to the heat index through the course of this week, especially by tomorrow, where we're back in the low 90s tomorrow afternoon down the shore. Then we skyrocket to the 100s, low 100s. This is the heat index on Thursday afternoon, pretty much statewide. We do it again on Friday afternoon, 101, 102, 104 toward Camden. And then by Saturday, I think we finally see some of that temperate weather arrive, but it's still going to feel very warm until then. With that, we have very high UV, so we're back up at 9, the first time this year, seeing 9 on the board for a UV index. That's right up around where the highest it gets all year long as we approach the summer solstice, and then keeping it clear throughout the next few days. Again, a few passing clouds tomorrow, I think, but with a chance of a shower early on in the day. You see that here early on with some passing sprinkles, maybe a storm, but I think the best chance of seeing some severe weather with some strong thunderstorms happens on Thursday afternoon, and that will be after we reach our high temperature that's well into the 90s, approaching 100. We do it again on Friday afternoon, could see some storms roll through, and then Saturday is still warm, but I think we'll ultimately see the temperature come down very little by the time we get to the end of the weekend, because the cold front has to do something, and it will drop temperatures a bit by Saturday and Sunday, both days, seeing that temperature moderate into Monday and Tuesday as well, with the better chance of some prolonged showers by then. So not a wet pattern ahead, but certainly a little bit cooler by this weekend. If you think low 90s or upper 80s are cooler, that's what's on the way. That's what will feel cool after the next few days, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate you, sir. It's 59 degrees now in northern New Jersey. It is 60 in Trenton, 57 degrees in Cape May, and 59 in Vineland. Hey, Pam, our director, I'm going to do something old school here because I couldn't give you the camera shot on time. So this is old school. How do you like that? Just pick up the damn monitor and show everybody. See that traffic right there? That is Route 29. That's a crash impacting traffic. Route 29 northbound south of Leller Street in Trenton. The left lane of 2 lanes closed, and it's causing that. So there we go. Just makes it easy. It makes it easier on Pam. Pam, let's go over to 295 if we can. So we have a crash right now, 295. This is northbound at exit 57, Route 130, Bordentown Township. The right shoulder is closed. And again, this 295 northbound exit 57, we should have that. There we go. So you can see it. It's on the left side of your screen. Doesn't look that bad. A second ago, it actually was worse than it is now. But that's the traffic coming towards you. They're going into that crash. We have an accident right now impacting traffic on Route 33, both directions at Colts Neck Road and Howell. The left lane is closed. On the turnpike, there's a crash. Exiting interchange 11, Garden State and Woodbridge, the entry lane number 7 specifically is blocked. There are Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel approach, 45 to 50 minutes in. This is all volume. Don't understand. We have no crash. There's no stall out in the tunnel. Pure volume making your way to the Helix. But again, 45 to 50 in. Over to the Holland Tunnel, Route 139 coming off of 78 into the Holland Tunnel. That's going to be about 35 to 40 minutes. You can see that left side of your screen. That's the right tube. It is bumper to bumper in. GWB is your best bet. It's slow, but it is moving. Still the best of the three. Right now, it's about 35 minutes in. Upper level is on the far left, actually. It's in the middle. Oh, we got the circle of death there right now with the internet. But where you see the box trucks, that's the upper level. Lower level is on the right. Trust me, on my side, it is actually streaming. It's slow, but it is moving. That's your best bet of the three. 821, Ryan DePercio, dear friend, good man, one of New Jersey's most recognizable chefs and restaurateurs, known for creating some of the region's most popular dining destinations, including Batello, Kitchen Step, Ember and Eagle, Tillinghast, Terminal A at Newark Liberty International Airport. Now he is preparing to open his newest concept, Barchino, a pizza-focused restaurant. All this while training to run the New York City Marathon in support of Jar of Hope, a charity dedicated to funding research for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Ryan, good morning. Good to see you, Chef.
Good morning, Ken. Good to see you. It's been a long time.
Absolutely has. I mean, and the man has been on. You've been on Food Network a bunch of times. You also had the place at the Art Center, right? In the NJ Pack, I should say. You had what
I
you've done.
did a consult. Yeah, I consulted for the Nico, which is there at the Performing Arts Center for 6 years for a company based out of Texas, but it was all my menus for 6 years. Yes.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And it's because of your skills, your talent, that you've been so successful. And now it's like it's just blossoming out exponentially. But how do you even keep your manage to breathe, being a dad and a husband and a chef and all these different things going on at the same time? I look at you online. I'm thinking this man has got to have an assistant following him with notes in order to keep yourself going.
It's funny you say that because I say to my wife all the time, I need an assistant, but I pretty much do it all on my own, and I put notes in my phone like nonstop, like stupid things like water the grass. Like it's just something that I really has helped me is just continuously putting notes. I put to do notes on my computers and all over the house, and it's just been very helpful. Also, it's like you get all this credit about being a great chef and a restaurateur and stuff like that, but like the truth is like there is an army of people, starting off with my two business partners, Joe Calafiore and Corey Checkett, who have been my partners for 13 years since we've opened Batello. Corey's the one that actually brought Joe and I into Batello, and that's how we kind of flourished as a restaurant group. And it's been, listen, it's been great, but like everybody only sees the successes. They don't ever see the failure or the falls. Don't forget that Patello had to close for 16 or 17 months because the pier closed, and then we opened in 2019, reopened, and then a year later the pandemic happened. And then we just closed Kitchen Step in Jersey City about 6 months ago, because it was the end of the lease and it was a very small restaurant. We just didn't feel that it was worth keeping. So we started searching for a new location for Kitchen Step, and then the space next to Batello opened up, and I've been like diving deep into pizza for the last 2 years, and we've been doing pizza at Ember and Eagle on Fridays for lunch. And we just talked about it and was like, let's do it. Let's do pizza, because we also didn't want to alienate what we do at Batello, being so close, and that we thought this was the perfect opportunity to execute pizza.
And it's a whole different concept. Barquino meaning little ship, right? It's a little ship because
Yeah,
Batello
it's
is the
actually
big
almost
ship.
like it's almost like actually like the raft that the guys come out and clean the boats on. So
Right.
we wanted to keep it in par with Patello, being in the same family.
I love that. I love that. And that's the thing. A lot of people have great restaurants that have great views of a skyline, but they don't measure up food wise. You have both, and that's why Batello packs, because
Yeah,
your menu is insane. I remember I had the honor of being there when you guys were first opening. You had us come around and we all had to judge and tell you what we thought about the food. And you said, be critical, critical. Tell us
yeah.
what you like, tell us what you hate. And I was critical. I said, my water glass was 1/10 of an inch, not full to the top. Now, I mean, that was about it. We couldn't find fault. I was like, geez, I came here looking for fault for the guy. The food is outrageous. You're just an amazing talent, and the thing is, you're just a hell of a nice guy, hardworking. You deserve any and all success. But again, people only see the good and
Sure.
the successes and don't realize how much work it is to have successful restaurants. So now, when Barquino opens, tell me, when are you hoping it opens? Because I know that you have to deal with codes, you have to deal with inspections, there's all that stuff. You're hoping it opens at when, and then what will I experience when I come in? What kind of menu are we looking at?
So we have Anthony Carino as our project manager, and he's been incredible on getting the time frame moving quickly. Our contractor Mateo also, and we were saying September, maybe August, maybe. But I feel really good between August and September for an opening. We obviously the clock is ticking because there's going to be rent to be paid at a certain time, and we're just trying to get all of our ducks in a row to get it open. Menu wise, it's going to be very, very casual. I just got back from. I actually spent 15 days in Italy at two different times of the month last month, one for work and one for a vacation with my wife. And, we really enjoyed. We went to Michelin starred restaurants, but I actually was like really diving in, enjoying the more casual restaurants, and we had some really great pizza. So obviously, pizza will be on the menu. There'll be Rosso and Bianco, and that means pizza with red sauce, pizza with just white, and then we'll have small plates, kind of like some kind of like street food, maybe some like like prosciutto and melon, but like making sure that the melon is like local melon. We're going to have panuzzo. Panuzzo is like a half moon pizza sandwich. So you basically bake the pizza dough in half, like a half moon. You pop it open, you stuff it, bake it a little more. So it's like a pizza sandwich, which is incredible. Some paninis, salads, very, very casual. And we want everything to be shared. We want it to be, all together.
Like you're at a family table on a Sunday in a neighborhood near the water in New Jersey. Hey, Chef,
Yeah.
tell us about the Jar of Hope and why supporting that incredible mission is so important to you personally.
So Jar of Hope is one of three major fundraisers that I'm involved in. But this one, I actually run a massive event at Tillinghast. I handpick all the restaurants, and it's going to be in September. And we're going to be posting about it soon. Jar of Hope is a charity that supports kids with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Jim, who is the CEO of Jar of Hope, his son has Duchenne, and he started it when his son was diagnosed and has grown it significantly. And just me being a part of it over the last 6 years, has been incredible. And now we've been able to grow it. Like with my event, we raised $50,000 last year at the event, and we're looking to definitely add another 25% this year. So, and then the training part obviously is awful, but it's I've been working out 5 days a week since I'm 15 years old, 16 years old. Had a few blips in between, having kids and stuff, but 80% of my life I've been working out, and I love it. The last 6 miles of that race is rough, but it's worth it in the end.
Well, I will see you because I do the I'm on WOR radio for the marathon. I am one of the reporters there along the route, so we will cheer you on. The man behind Battelle. Oh, by the way, give everybody your either a website or your Instagram so that people can follow along.
Of course, you can follow me at chef_RD. All of the handles of all the restaurants from Batello, Barchino, and Berneagle, our wedding venue, Tillinghast, are all on there. And come follow and have some fun with us.
And we will be there opening night, I hope, at Barchino. Please let us know when it opens. In fact, we'll bring you on right before it opens. So come on and promote it here, please. All right, we'd love to have you back, Chef. The man behind Batello, Kitchen Step, Ember and Eagle, Tillinghast, Terminal A at Newark International Airport. Now preparing to open Barchino, renowned New Jersey restaurant chef owner, marathoner, good friend for a long time, Ryan DiPersio. It is so nice to have you on, Ryan.
Thank you,
All the
brother.
best, my friend. You bet. God bless. What a good guy. 8:31 right now, and we have a temp of 62 degrees. We're coming back in 2 minutes talking about really smart, super innovative company that uses plant-based manufacturing methods to reduce waste. Don't go away. Very good morning, Tuesday, June 9th, 2026, 61 degrees right now, 8:33. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Lots of sun today. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. There we go. Good morning, Ken.
It's
Good
the
morning,
flip
Ken.
of
It's
a
about that
switch, Mike
time.
appears.
The switch you were talking about in LA, mine's a little bit bigger, but it's behind and around the corner and on its side. And it's one of those where the contractor installed it upside down, so up is down and down is up. So yeah, that's
we
that's
all
what it
we all have that switch in our house. We
we
all do.
do. We certainly do. I had the trading card here. Wait, let me get it for you. We were
Oh,
talking about the
yes.
787 Dreamliner trading card.
I got
It's
mine in
got
my
the
bag
stats
upstairs.
on
I'm
it.
going to go get it. I'm going to get
It's
it
got
while
the
you're doing the
stats on it
weather.
and
How about
everything.
that?
550 miles an hour cruising speed. It's a little fast jet there to get you where you need to go on a day like today. Well, on a day
Yes,
like
sir.
today, Ken, if you're out and about and enjoying that beautiful weather, the forecast looks clear today. We have some clouds right now working through central New Jersey. They won't last long, probably see that clear out through this afternoon, but it's a southerly breeze today that'll make it feel a little bit cooler along those southeastern facing beaches. Inland, low 80s. I think it's our last comfortable day before the temperature really starts to heat up by the time we get into the end of the weekend, well, really the end of the week. Pollen levels have been noticeably higher, but not sky high like they were just a few weeks ago. So under control. And as we start to go through the rest of June, you'll see these records hit triple digit heat. We're not getting anywhere near record weather today. However, as we head to Thursday and Friday, yeah, triple digit heat is certainly likely, especially with the heat index. We'll have all the excessive heat warnings, all those fun alerts that come from the Weather Service when we have hot weather ahead. Way to cool off is down by the water. The temperatures on the water very comfortable in the mid and low 60s, even 69 towards Sandy Hook. So warming up nicely there. And with our rain chances increasing, especially by the middle of the week, given the chance that we have first the thunderstorms each day, I think the weekend is much drier, and then the chances go up into next week. So it's always nice when the weekend clears out beautifully and there's low chances of rain there. But over the next few days, you'll see a few clouds increase later on tonight, especially for tomorrow. Have a good shot of some rain early tomorrow, and then again on Thursday afternoon with that week passing cold front. But the big story will be the big cold front on Friday night. And when that comes through, likely with some rain, wind, maybe some possible severe weather, it'll cool us down just enough to make it feel comfortable into this upcoming weekend. So by the time we get to Saturday, high of 89, back in the 90s on Sunday, there's a good chance we could stay at 90 degrees right through in Newark, making it a 5-day heat wave, and then by Monday start to cool things down a little more back into the 80s. The short points, a little bit cooler still with pleasant weather ahead this weekend. Can't wait for that.
Oh, that is exciting. And I thought I actually took the bag I took on the plane with me to go to Los Angeles, and I don't have the card in the bag. So that means it is in my shorts pocket, which is upstairs. I'll have to go find it. But yeah, it was, show Nino's trading card there if you have it. Do you have it
Where'd it go?
handy?
Here it is. Yep,
Please.
got it right here.
So show everybody what that looks like. So this is for those of us who are airline and airplane geeks, aviation geeks,
Mm-hmm.
pilots who are by definition geeks. They love not that they're
Yeah,
geeks
of
because they're
course.
pilots, they're geeks because they love planes. Right? You're hard pressed to find a pilot who's like, I hate planes. They love it. They're in love with it from when they're kids. That's why they become pilots.
Sure,
Almost
sure.
every pilot I've
Yep.
ever met is just like they still are in love with what they do.
Uh-huh.
And so they give you a trading card if it's the first time you're on a particular model plane. And so
Yep.
is that the 7.8? That's the 7.8
No,
or
this
the
is the
7.3?
737-800. I misread
Okay.
it. Yeah.
That's okay. So the 737-8. So for those who don't realize, they start out with a plane like the 737, and the first edition
Mm-hmm.
is usually the 100, right? And then it goes to 200, 300, and it goes up in number based on size, right? So they either increase the cargo hold or they increase the seat capacity, et cetera, and they stretch it. And it's because the FAA approves a model in order to make it airworthy, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
737 model gets approved. So all the basic things that make the plane take off stay the same. The wing length, do I have this? Because you know more about this than me. But the wing length, the width, the tail, the rudder height, etc., all gets approved. This is what a 737 must have for wings,
Okay.
weight, etc. Then the additional sizes, the 100, 200, 300, up to 800, 900,
Mm-hmm.
those get approved, but much faster because the basic airworthiness has already been approved, right? You get
Right.
something like the 787, whole different beast from ground up. It's made of a composite material, so it weighs like 30% less than the aluminum
Mm-hmm.
frame on the other planes. Composite materials do not rot over time. They are better with expansion and contraction of air pressure, right, over time. Um, then they are, because they're lighter, you don't need as much fuel. So now you have like the Airbus has their version, the Airbus A321 Neo ER. I know, I'm a geek. Which has extended range. So literally, it's something the size of like a 737-200, but it can go overseas because it's so light. You can now fly it over the Atlantic. You could never do that with a twin engine. It never had the
Mm-mm.
fuel capacity. Now you can fly to Europe with this. You can fly, I know, to Portugal. Air Portugal, TAP Air Portugal, has the Airbus A321 Neo ERs. Great fuel, that doesn't waste all that burn all that fuel and carbon in the sky to get you across to Europe, and it's a smooth flight too. But getting back to the 7.8, that is one of the quietest, smoothest, most
So
comfortable.
quiet. Yes.
So now you
Really
guys went
well.
to Florida on that? Where did you go
No,
on
no,
that?
no, no, no. We went to Tahiti. We did a little exotic location. It was our honeymoon, and so we took it from LAX over to Tahiti. Uh, Laid that seat down and passed out, didn't even wake up for meal service. I mean, that's how quiet it was.
Yep.
And I have trouble sleeping on planes. It was the smoothest ride. So really impressed. And then coming home with the sun. And if you got the chance to play with that electronic shade where you push the button and the window dims, and then you push the button again and it brightens up again, that was one of my favorite features.
And it's a bigger window too. The window's
Much bigger.
huge.
Yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's taller and wider, but it's a
Yeah.
slightly different shape. So for what Mike is saying, you press a button and it literally turns like this bluish color. It just blots out the sun. So
Yep.
if you want to sleep, as opposed to pulling down a manual shade, and they could, of course, on takeoff and landing, when they want you to be able to see out, they could just press a button from the front and they all open up. So it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
amazing what they're able to do with. Excuse me, my alarm is going off, so you could tell this is when I was waking up in Los Angeles over the weekend. But just an amazing plane, and the idea that they're fuel efficient to boot is just amazing. So you notice the jet engines themselves, the nacelle, the front of the jet engines get bigger and bigger and bigger to the
Mm.
point that
Yeah.
a nacelle on the engine on a 787 is about the same width as the entire uh, inside of a 737. It could fit into
Incredible.
the jet intake of the nacelle of a 787. Just amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Well,
yes, it is. When we see them fly overhead as they land, on a day with the certain breezes, you can see it has that lovely like gull wing shape to the back, a little bit of a curve that none of the
like
other
that.
airlines do. Yeah, none of
Yep.
the other airlines have that. Even the most recent ones from Airbus. So it makes it very pretty. I feel like we're doing a commercial for Boeing at this point.
Yeah, really. Well, we had a guest scheduled to come on. There was a mix-up, so we figured, what, let's use this time talking about that. But yeah, when you look out the window at the wings, they literally
Mm-hmm.
bend up that high. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, the wing is
Right.
higher than the plane. But for people who don't realize, they might get nervous. They're exactly supposed to do that. That is and that helps. That is more fuel efficient when it does that, because what? Birds do that. So they learn from
Mm-hmm.
birds. Birds, when they're in
Yeah.
flight, they don't have their wings out like this. They have their wings up. So that helps the air current to just flow off the tips. It doesn't cause as much of a vortex off the tips.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now I'm really geeking out way too much.
No, well
But fascinating.
that's about weather and about fuel efficiency relating to meteorology, because a lot of the fluid dynamics and a lot of the physics that create the eddies and vortices that you see in clouds are what's making older planes less efficient. So that's why they have these little winglets, they're called, on the tips of
Yep.
planes, which help prevent those vortex eddices or vortex eddies, I think they're called. Yeah, and that's what helps them glide through the air with less resistance. So always good to see some
Because
modern science
we've had
and
incidents,
engineering.
right, of planes flying too close to bigger jets, and because
Hmm.
of the eddies and the vortices that come off the back, they lose their
Sure.
ability to
Yep.
stay afloat because of
Right.
that. And those
Hmm.
little winglets not only improve efficiency, but also help or reduce at least some of the effects of the vortices behind. We've had air crashes, unfortunately, because pilots have lost control of smaller jets, smaller planes behind
Yep.
large jets like 747s and whatnot in the past. But fascinating stuff. We could do a whole special
Okay.
on this and bring on some pilots. Mike, you're amazing. Always great to talk to the scientist about this stuff. We appreciate you, sir. We will
A
check back.
pleasure.
All right, you bet. Same here. 61 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 60 in Trenton. When we come back, more families face difficult decisions about long term care, and some are raising concerns about the paperwork residents are asked to sign when entering nursing homes. Our friends from AARP New Jersey will be here to talk about it. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 846, and we are taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sun today. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full hot Garden State forecast. Mike, good
Hmm.
morning.
It's great weather for growing those gardens, let me tell you. Wonderful sunshine all week long. Now, there will be a few rounds of rain that come through to help quell the drought that's been ongoing across New Jersey, especially to the north. Look at this large area, the 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit across most of the northern half of the state, everywhere pretty much north of 287 and Route 78. Well, as that continues this week, the moderate drought remains, the severe drought south of 195, but I have a feeling that by Thursday that may be extended north to include most of the state under a severe drought because of the continued dry weather. The humidity has been very low, and that plays a part in drying up a lot of the soil and keeping those soil moistures very low. As far as the 2 week outlook, anticipate a little bit more wet weather on the way, also slightly warmer than average as we take it into the 3rd week of June with the hottest weather down toward Florida. So some very warm weather there. We'll feel it here as soon as Thursday, back in the 90s, staying in the 90s, at least maybe trying to get there by Saturday, but certainly again on Sunday, AA 91, and then cooling off by this time next week. So it doesn't last and last and last. There's about a 5-day stretch of 90-degree heat before we cool things down into early next week. The short points, you could lose a few degrees, but at least it stays sunny down the shore this weekend with some great weather ahead for some beach time or pool time. Ken.
All right. Looking forward to it, my friend. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day with the
You
babies.
too.
We'll check back with you mañana. It is 8:48 right now. Temperature 63 degrees northern New Jersey, 60 in Trenton. And this segment is brought to you by our good friends at AARP New Jersey. As more families face difficult decisions about long-term care, advocates are raising concerns about the paperwork that many residents are asked to sign when entering nursing homes, often during stressful or medically vulnerable moments. Gail Smith has lived through that experience herself, and now she's speaking out to help protect other residents and push for stronger consumer safeguards in nursing home admission agreements. Joining us now again, Gail Smith, nursing home resident and advocate. We say good morning and welcome to you, Gail.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on. And I speak now with a mother who's 87, a father who is 95. And we've had them both in nursing home rehabs, but within the nursing home environment several times in the last year and a half. And I've seen the environment and I've heard the stories now from people there at the various nursing homes. First, let's ask, how long have you been in a nursing home? And tell us about the experience when you had to come in and sign the paperwork.
I've been in 2 nursing homes for 5 years now. The paperwork is ominous. It's very long and difficult to read through. Um, Unfortunately, at the first nursing home, they didn't have me sign the agreement until I was sick and heading for the hospital. I was delirious and didn't know my own name. My signature looked like a tumbleweed, and I didn't
Mm.
remember signing it at all.
And that paperwork, you sign away a lot of rights in that paperwork, don't you?
Well, you get rights too. It's hard to describe everything that's in a contract, but you have
Mhm.
to be careful that they don't force you to sign an arbitration agreement, for example.
Mhm.
It was offered to me at one place, and I didn't understand the difference between a trial in court and an arbitration hearing. I found out later that they tend to favor the corporations, and there's no
Mhm.
appeal process with that. So that's not exactly what you want if you are having a severe problem with your nursing home.
Right. And just so that people know just the basics, and I'm not an attorney, but the basic concept is an arbitration is much less expensive than a court hearing because it's usually done, the arbitrator is usually a fellow lawyer, not a judge. And with an arbitrator or an arbitration, it's usually all or nothing. So if you go to an arbitration, they call it binding arbitration, it's usually all for one side or all for the other, whereas court, you could be kind of awarded a partial judgment. So that's why I think corporations prefer that. It's less expensive, and it's harder to win 100% of anything. So that's obviously why I would assume they would want that. Now, you shared that you were asked to sign that admission paperwork when you were medicated. Did you talk to them later about that and say, you know, why when I was so medicated and not doing well mentally did you make me sign that?
I didn't ask them any questions, but I told them that it was not legal and warned them that they should not be doing that. I was a
Mhm.
legal secretary, so I have a little bit of a background in law, and normally I would read the entire contract. People started saying, "Your contract, this, that." I said, "I don't have a contract."
Mhm. Yeah, that's really unfair. And it's not like you were coming in with other people, I'm assuming, right? You didn't have relatives who were with you. This was all you.
Correct.
Wow. And when you look back later, were there things in those agreements that really concern you in retrospect that would have made you not sign?
No, I would have signed it anyway, but we didn't exactly know what to ask a facility when we went in. And now I have a lot of suggestions. Um, First, you can contact the long-term care ombudsman about a contract. And I'm part of a group of New Jersey Nursing Home Residents United. And you can speak to residents who have lived through these experiences for years. You know, I suggest taking a tour. They'll give you a tour, but they'll show you their best room that you might not necessarily be getting. So ask for a second room. Ask to taste the food. Don't just look at the menu, because what's in writing can look fancier than what is actually served. You also want to have roommate compatibility. It's very important. Are you used to a very quiet environment with no media, lights out, sleeping in the dark early, or do you like to stay up late? Are you a clean person or more relaxed? I would visit a facility more than once. I'd make a second trip that was unannounced. Maybe go on the weekend when there's less staff and see what it's like and talk to the residents. You can ask to speak to the resident council. There's a vice president and president usually. Ask to see their meeting minutes for a couple of months. Look them over. See what people are complaining about or admiring about the facility. And then there's a federal list of residents' rights. It's 4 pages long. But we have found that they don't offer all the rights. You have to know what they are and fight for them.
Now, one thing that we've seen, and this is in my own family too, you go to different nursing homes, sometimes you see one nurse on the floor or 2 nurses on the floor, and there might be 20 residents. And if you need help or you need something, it's hard to get anybody to come. And yet these nursing homes charge an awful lot of money, whether you're paying out of pocket or you're paying via Medicaid or Medicare, et cetera. They're not cheap, as you can well attest, I'm sure. So how do you spot? Do you just ask the other residents, do you think there's enough care here? Because you might, like you said, you might be there on a Tuesday and you might see 5 people on the floor, and then on a Saturday you might see 1.
There's a report on the front desk, legally has to be there, that says how many residents a certified nurse assistant is taking care of for the day. Our state law says for the first shift, it has to be only 8 residents.
Interesting. I did not know that at all. I said my relatives are in New York State, but I'm sure it's quite similar there. And if you could leave any message for families who want to look around at different nursing homes before signing nursing home paperwork for themselves or a loved one, what advice would you give? Is there one piece of advice?
For me, I start with prayer. God can lead you to the right place, and think about what you would like. You don't get to take a lot of possessions with you. You're going to be probably sharing a room, but good things can happen there too. The activities departments vary from one to the other, but they can provide a good time, or you can make your own entertainment and fun, which I tend to do a lot.
Good for you. Well, I'm glad you're being such a great advocate, nursing home resident and advocate Gail Smith. Thank you for coming on this morning. God bless you. And I hope you wish for you nothing but joy and good health there.
Thank you so much, Ken. It's good to see you.
Likewise. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says sunshine today, a few afternoon clouds, highs mid-80s. That is on New Jersey Mornings for your Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early, starting at 7 a.m. Till then, have a great day.